the market makes a miraculous recovery, huge Web2 brands announcing their entry into Web3, and upcoming mints I have my eye on. Welcome back to the Crypto Gorilla YouTube channel. There's a ton that I want to talk about today. We're going to split it up into different sections, starting off with the global markets and crypto news, moving into NFT news. As usual, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It is just my opinion. And if you like this kind of content, would you kindly hit that subscribe button? So the markets have been on a roller coaster for the past week. If you're new to crypto, NFTs, or even investing, you've pretty much had a speed run of the market cycle experience. So kudos to you if you were able to withstand it. Personally, in these situations, I don't do anything. I don't panic sell or anything. I find it's very easy to make an emotional decision. So I pretty much just watched my net worth go up into flames and then quickly bounce back. Now, we did have 3 banks pretty much get nuked off the bank. We had Silvergate, Signature Bank, and the one everyone is talking about, Silicon Valley Bank. Now, while it's obviously bad when a bank goes under for a ton of reasons, it's particularly bad for crypto as these 3 banks were very crypto friendly. So in a way, we lost some allies because these were great on and off ramps for crypto. Now, we also saw USDC depeg from its $1 value, as many feared that Circle, the company behind USDC, would go under, as they did have 8% of their funds in Silicon Valley Bank, and people were worried that we would have another Luna UST situation where it just goes to zero. Now, thankfully, it did repeg and the market ended up pumping super hard yesterday. So what happened? Well, there were a few things. One, we had CZ coming out and saying he's going to use the $1 billion he has in BUSD to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. So this definitely had a massive positive effect on the market. We also had President Biden come out and make a speech about the bank failure, saying that depositors' funds would be protected, investors would be taking an L, and that they would not be using taxpayer funds to bail this bank out. And instead, they're going to be using a fund that is made up of the fees that the bank collects from customers. So although it's not taxpayers who are floating the bill, it's going to be customers who are floating the bill because they're the ones who pay the fees for the bank to hold their money and safely store the money. But instead, the banks took that money and went and made risky investments. They lost all that money and they're not going to be paying the bill. It's going to be the customers. Now, another reason the markets are going up is a lot of people believe that the Fed and the government is just going to start printing money. Obviously, they want this to happen for selfish reasons. We want our bags to go up, tech stocks, crypto, everything. But when they do this, and I say when, not if, because I do believe they will eventually turn the printers back on. When they do this, we are going to have a brand new challenger entering the arena, hyperinflation. It's simply not sustainable to keep playing these games, and I do believe the Fed is pretty much between a rock and a hard place. On one side, they're trying to raise rates and crush demand. At the same time, they're decimating the markets. They're crushing our portfolios. They are killing companies. People aren't able to afford their mortgages, and unemployment rates are going to continue to rise. But on the other side, if they print money, they're just going to make inflation go up and devalue the currency. Now, even though crypto had an amazing day, Bitcoin was up almost 20%. I don't believe we're out of the woods yet. I am just keeping an eye on what's going on. I'm watching the important dates. Today, we do have the CPI data coming out, followed by next week on March 22nd, we're going to have the FOMC meeting where we find out how much, if any, they're going to be raising the rates by. If you want to track all these important dates, I'm going to link a calendar in the description down below. Because as I've said before, it is very important for you to know what's going on in the market, because although we think we live in a free market, we unfortunately have the Fed, which pretty much controls the direction that the market's going to go. So it's important to know when they are dropping information that's going to shift the direction of the markets. Next up, I want to talk about major Web2 brands entering Web3, because we have seen quite a few over the past week. The first one that everyone was talking about last week, we had this article drop saying that Amazon is launching an NFT marketplace on April 24th. Now, as for the date, until I see Amazon themselves announce this, I will not believe any date that I see. However, I do think it is inevitable for a player like Amazon to enter the space, and when they do, I imagine they're going to enter with a bang. So there's still no official information to cover about Amazon, so there isn't much to say, but I do wish them a lot of success because major Web2 brands brands entering the space has been quite iffy. A lot of them do it incorrectly, and it just removes even more credibility to us when we already get laughed at by a lot of Web2 people. So I, for one, hope they do it right and they don't have a marketplace like the Coinbase NFT marketplace, which has next to no volume. The second brand that everyone is talking about is, of course, Pokemon. We saw this job posting where they are looking for a corporate development principal. The salary is quite nice if you want to apply. It's $150K to $224,000. But this is obviously extremely bullish news that Pokemon is finally considering dipping their toes into Web3. I don't know if it's going to be a blockchain game. I don't know if it's just going to be a collectibles series or maybe cards in the form of NFTs. However, whatever they do, I'm with it. It's a no-brainer for Pokemon to be entering the space. There's a ton of people who have tried to clone them before, so I think it's inevitable that they do it, and they're going to absolutely crush it. But the most concrete one that we actually have information on entering the space is going to be MapleStory. Now, MapleStory is a huge Korean brand. It is 20 years old. The company Nexon has a ton of IPs under their wing, and their games span across a ton of Nintendo and PlayStation consoles. Now, they did launch a website for their project along with a 22-minute video explaining their view and their approach when it comes to blockchain gaming. And I must say, I really like how they explain it. At first, they were like everybody. They thought blockchain gaming only meant play to earn, where people play half-baked games in order to earn a token, simply grind it and make money. However, when they approached it with a more open mind, they finally realized all the opportunities that blockchain gaming unlocks. Key things that they point out are transparency, since everything happens on chain, storing value through NFTs and token ownership, as well as an open ecosystem as anyone is able to contribute and earn rewards. Now, they did mention that one of the reasons they chose MapleStory is that they wanted to prove that they aren't just doing this for a trend, so they're putting themselves at risk by putting one of their key brands at risk by launching this. So they plan to launch 4 games. They say 4 games, it's not really 4 games. They're going to have MapleStory N, which is an RPG. They're going to have MapleStory N Mobile. They're going to have Mod N, which is a sandbox that contains over 30 million assets over their 20 years of games. And they're going to have the MapleStory N SDK, which is going to allow you to create apps with their NFTs. So there's not going to be any pre-sale. There's not going to be any land sale. They also mentioned that there's not going to be any in-game shop. So all the NFTs are going to have to be earned by playing the game. There's no microtransactions. There's no loot boxes or anything like that, which raises the question, how are they going to make money? And the way they're going to do this is through that open ecosystem where anybody can contribute and earn rewards. They're going to be one of the contributors. So it's really cool that they're doing this. And even though there isn't any whitelist opportunity for this project, I thought it was important to talk about because this is extremely bullish for the space, and it is definitely going to add credibility and bring in more players. Now, one brand that has entered the space that does have whitelist opportunity is going to be Square Enix's SymbioGenesis. Now, they're doing things very differently. There's not going to be any alphabot raffles or collaborative giveaways. In order to get one of their NFTs, you're either going to have to participate in their campaigns, their stories, or their quests. Now, it isn't exactly clear how the NFTs are going to work. It seems like they have 2 different kinds. There's going to be what I believe from their website, it says 30,000 NFTs. I think these are the silver cards. They're going to be entirely free to mint, but they're also going to be doing a 10K character collection that is released in 6 different waves over 6 different seasons, each season spanning over a 2-month period, lasting a total of 1 year. Now, in order to get these characters, you're going to have to complete a series of puzzles and answer questions based on information that you get, and it's going to be a whole gamified process where you can either hoard the information or share it with others in order to win. However, in the end, there's only going to be 3 people who win, and those 3 people are going to make the decision on the future of the game. So if you want to participate in this, I highly suggest you do. It's Square Enix. I think it has a very high likelihood of performing well. And in order to do that, right now they're holding a 5-day campaign where you answer 1 question a day based on the lore on their website. And all of this is happening in their Discord. So just like MapleStory, I do hope this project does very well. A lot of people in the Web2 world are going to have their eyes on it since it is Square Enix. They're very popular. They have a ton of IPs like Final Fantasy under them. And if it goes wrong, a ton of people are going to be dropping videos just like they're doing for the Dookie Dash game right now, where they're just judging it without knowing anything about it. So I really do hope it goes well. Next, let's talk about some upcoming NFTs. A ton of them are free, which is great because there is no risk as long as you use a burner. If we hop onto the free NFT website, which allows you to sign up for raffles for free NFTs, the 2 that stand out on this website right now are going to be Elemental Raiders, which is minting on March 16th. It's a low supply, so I do believe it can perform well. It is also by Trip Hawkins, who is the founder of EA, under his brand new company, Games for a Living. And something else that's good is they already have a beta of this game available to play on Steam. It's entirely free to play. I tried it out. It's actually pretty fun and addicting. You could see all of the collecting and evolution mechanics that they already have built in. And I much prefer when projects do this because a lot of games don't even have a working beta by the time they mint, and you have to wait months on end for them to release even a game trailer of what their game is going to be. Now, the second one available on the free NFT website is going to be Genesis Ancient Seeds. Now, I do like the art for this one. It does seem to be AI art. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There is no gameplay for it, so we don't know what the gameplay is going to look like. The website does mention that you're going to be able to forage and farm. It's going to be both single player and co-op. And if we quickly scroll through the team here, they do seem very stacked. You have a ton of people who have worked on some major projects. You have people from Nintendo, Sega, Epic Games, Unity, and a bunch more. So this is another one that I'm going to be trying to get. Again, it's free, so there is no risk. Now, another platform that is doing this whole free gaming mint is going to be Magic Eden. This month, they have 12 free mints. Some of them have already happened. However, two that stand out to me in this list are going to be Shrapnel and Realm Hunters. Now, Shrapnel, if you haven't heard of it before, they are building a AAA game. It's going to be a first-person extractor shooter, and they have members on their team who have worked on games like Halo, BioShock, and Call of Duty. Now, it was voted most anticipated Web3 game, and if you haven't already seen their trailer, it looks really good. They have this cinematic trailer as well as a gameplay trailer, and this definitely looks like something that would appeal to Web2 audiences. And the game is also going to be launching in the Epic Game Store. Now, the mint is going to be free. I don't think it's going to be a crazy flip or anything like that. I'm personally looking at this as a longer term hold. Again, it's free. There's no risk. I'm not telling you to hold anything. Go ahead and flip it if you want to. So if the Genesis NFTs, which are the operators, don't have that high of a floor price, I don't expect this collection to be a crazy cook or anything like that. This is more about the utility that you're going to get from these NFTs, because by holding these, you're going to get exclusive decals, exclusive skins, early access to both the map maker and the skin maker. So they're going to have 3 different mint for these. They're going to be cross-chain. One of them is going to be on Polygon, one of them on ETH, and the final one is going to be on Avalanche. Now, the second project on the Magic Eden launchpad that is launching for free is going to be Realm Hunters. Now, this one is launching on March 27th. The game has actually been in development for quite a long time. I remember having a call with them months ago. The game does look like a mix between Genshin Impact meets Pokemon. Essentially, you explore worlds, catch creatures, train them, and then battle opponents. Essentially what everybody thought Pixelmon was going to launch with. Now, it is being incubated by Seedify, and if you want whitelist, I found a pre-mint link that is still open. I'm going to put it in the description down below. Next up is another free mint out of Dimensionals. So if you don't know, last week they minted the Stones collection. It was entirely free to mint, and these performed very well. They hit the market with a floor price of roughly 2 Ethereum, and they did make it close to 4 ETH after Pranksy swept 25. However, volume did slow down a bit too much for my liking. They went under 2 ETH, roughly around 1.6 with the whole market crash. However, they have nicely recovered above 2 ETH. I did mint one of these, and I purchased a second on the secondary market. I'm still holding both of them. I do believe they have room to run. However, a lot of this is going to depend on their character launch and the success of those campaigns, because the utility of the stones is that it gets you automatic mints for all of the characters that they launch, which are all free. So you essentially get free NFTs for life. However, if there's no utility behind the characters and they just keep giving you more and more characters, they're just going to dilute the supply, and they're going to be worth less and less. So we're going to have to keep an open ear for when they announce a date for their beta as well as their main game launch. However, for the time being, they are running a whitelist campaign on their website for the Eve character. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Eve. I wish they went with another character, as a lot of their other characters I personally find a lot cooler. Also, if you look at the art, it is quite similar to one another. There is only one position. So I really hope we don't have a Momoguro situation where after reveal, the price just tanks below the, well, we can't say below the mint price, it's free to mint, but you know what I mean. Let's say secondary price is 0.5, it reveals, it goes to 0.1. A ton of people who bought in 0.5 are incredibly disappointed. And the problem with these kind of mints mints is they are not PFPs. This is a full body character, so people don't like using it as a PFP. So it really depends on the utility, and the utility for these is in the game. So we're gonna need a game sooner than later. But like I said, I have 2 of these. I'm excited to see what they come out with. I've joined a few of their Twitter spaces and I really like what they're doing. So I really hope they perform well. And again, it's a free mint, so don't forget to enter the whitelist down below. Okay, next up we have the Devs, which is a free mint based off of Hey It's Me the Dev, which this mint reminds me a lot of the Hasbullah mint, except it's free rather than being paid. And the Hasbullah mint did run, I believe it was a 2 or 3x flip. And this one has gotten a ton of traction, particularly because it is entirely a meme. So I do believe it can perform well. Now they just announced that they're going to be launching on this platform called Metadrops on March 27th. And the reason I find this interesting is due to the fact that they're using Metadrops. So if you don't know what Metadrops is, it was a curated NFT platform. They did mints for projects such as Waziz, Webaverse, and Interleave by Loopify. However, they are relaunching. And if we look at this image that they tweeted out, there's no information yet. Everything here is redacted. But if we try to figure out what they're saying here, it does seem like there will be some sort of reward every time you mint. You can see they have these tokens here. They're kind of playing on the whole token airdrop meta. So if this is indeed what they're doing, that could be really bullish, and having whitelist for the Devs mint could be a very positive thing if you're going to get rewarded with tokens. Moving away from the whole free mint meta, we have a few projects that I really like or that I'm bullish on. The first one is Deka. They had their Genesis mint. This one was free, or you can choose to donate to increase your fortune of getting a rare NFT. Now, when they dropped, they did incredibly well. They pumped all the way to roughly 1.2 Ethereum. However, they did do an announcement that they have a partnership with Toei, which is an animation studio that has worked with Digimon, One Piece, and Dragon Ball, just to name a few. Now, of course, with this announcement, the floor went ballistic. It pumped incredibly hard. It still has a really good floor above 3 Ethereum, and they have seemed to have built a really good community, especially being a Japanese project who are renowned for their holders and their strong communities. Now, the lore behind this collection is that there are 7 characters that have passed away, and they each have their own Twitter account as they have found themselves in the metaverse, and they're all in a race to grow their Twitter accounts in order to become gods. So these 7 gods are going to be part of the Generative collection that they're launching, which is going to have a supply of 7,777 launching sometime in April. Now, I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be doing with their IP. I think it's a no-brainer that they're going to be doing some sort of animations, whether it's just mini clips or a short story or even different episodes, as they are working with Toei, which is an amazing animation studio. However, simply basing it on their previous collection, I think a lot of people are assuming, including myself, that this collection is going to do well simply due to the floor price. Next up, and the final project we're going to talk about in this video, is called Moonfrost. Now, I really love the art for this game. It seems like a really peaceful game where you kind of just grow your garden and expand your land, but the art that they went with, this pixel style, is incredible. It's going to be a free-to-play RPG game on both mobile and PC. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to be utilizing NFTs. It's going to be on the Solana blockchain, which obviously I'm less of a fan of, but I'm not sure if they're going to be having a pre-sale or a land sale or anything like that. However, something I find really interesting is they did manage to raise $4.5 million across multiple investors, including Animoca Brands. However, one of the investors is Supercell, making this the first blockchain game that Supercell has funded. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification. Thank you for watching the Crypto Gorilla. Peace.